Good afternoon, and welcome to another episode of Your Speaking Matters, hosted by Rick and Carol Durling. We are so lucky to have the opportunity to talk with Owen Monday today. We'll get to that in a moment. We're also very grateful for the use of On TV studios. A huge shout out to everybody here that supports us so thoroughly. Each episode of this podcast unravels the secrets of effective communication through engaging conversations, techniques, and tips. The skills and techniques can help you transform your fear of public speaking into a skill set that opens doors to new opportunities. As I mentioned, in today's episode, we have the great fortune to be able to talk to Owen Monday, who is the District 62 District Director. Owen has got a tremendous background, and we're going to get right into finding out a little more about Owen. So Owen, can you share a little bit about your background? What motivated you to join Toastmasters? And for instance, how long have you been in Toastmasters?
Thank you, Rick, and thank you, Carol. Actually, I've been in Toastmasters now 9 years. And what really got me to Toastmasters was, I'm going to be honest with you, I thought I was getting out of work. When my boss told me, she said, "Hey, I got something for you to do." And I was like, "Really? It gets me out of work? I'm ready. I'm out of noon. It got me out of work," I thought. So I went to a Toastmasters meeting. I sat in the back of the office, in the back of the auditorium, and I was like, "Man, this is nice. I can sit here for an hour and a half, not do no work." Then this man comes up to me. His name was Jack Pyle. He says, "Hey, how you doing?" Shakes my hand. I'm like, "How you doing?" I said, "Hey, how you doing?" He said, "Good to see you. What's your name?" I told him my name. And then Jack said, "Well, you're in Toastmasters. In Toastmasters, we speak." And I'm like, "Speak about what?" He said, "Well, you come in here and you learn about being a leader. You learn about speaking." I was like, "Okay, Jack, that's great. I really just came here just to get out of work." Jack said, "No, that's not what we do here." So needless to say, Jack became my mentor. Jack was a 35-year Toastmaster.
Wow.
And I can remember that he said he would be there weekly. Jack was there weekly. And as Jack became weekly, I became a better Toastmaster. So that's how my world came into being Toastmasters. And let me tell you, I love it, I enjoy it, and I brand it every time I talk about it.
Well, I can attest to the fact that I think Toastmasters is absolutely an excellent place to be for all manner of reasons, not the least of which teasing my lovely wife. She put me on an improvement plan, and it included coming to Toastmasters.
Yes, the improvement plan.
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah, she's a delight. She's an absolutely awesome lady. I can only
That's
hope
great. Glad
to,
you two are doing it together.
yeah, I only can hope to live up to her example. Owen, can you tell us some of the clubs you're in? We might as well self-promote some of them.
Well, I'm in with Leadership Speaks, which is headed by Bronze Moman out of Canada. Great. Love that club. I am with Secondary None, my main club. We are in Lansing, Michigan. We are hybrid and we're in person. So you can always contact me at Monday and Associates LLC at gmail.com and join. I'm also with SWAT, which is an advanced club. I'm also with CDOS, which is an advanced club. Wow. I am also with Early Birds.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so the problem is sometimes I don't get the opportunity to go to all the club meetings because I have other things to do, but
like life.
I try to be there for them.
Oh, that's tremendous. And thank you for giving back to so many Toastmasters organizations. I know as a district director, that's part of your role, but it's tremendous when people get involved in Toastmasters and learn skills and continue to learn them because it's a lifelong journey. and then
Yes, it is.
stay in and continue to help others learn the same skills. Learning
Absolutely.
to how to be a confident speaker is huge and a major part of being a leader. So, you know, do you want to take the next one or you want me? All right. What is your role as a district director? Can you give us a rundown on what a district director does? I know you've got a huge responsibility because, let's face it, District 62 is enormous from top to bottom. I think we determined it was like 257 miles, and that's not including Sault Ste. Marie, which makes it even larger. And of course, we're going to become 216, which is going to make the whole thing even bigger. But what is your role?
Yes. Well, that's a good question, Rick. Thank you very much for asking. The district director is the ambassador to District 62, which means that when you talk about District 62, you're talking about that I have to be in every place at every time, sometime. Meaning I get to visit clubs, I get the opportunity to meet different people. And as district director, you're over the large portion of the district. So the interesting part about all this is when you think about some of the things that people talk about, like the competencies, team management, collaboration, you got to do analytical skills. One of the things that I enjoy about being the district director is I get to meet people. So when you get to go to clubs, you get not to just go to clubs, you get to meet people. And outside of Toastmasters is what I like to do as well, because I like to brand Toastmasters. And people say, well, what does a district director do? So then when I explained it to them, I said, well, you're like an executive in a committee. So that's the top person, and then it works down to program quality director, club growth director, and then you have division directors, and then you have area directors, and you have clubs. And I said, then it comes back up to the pyramid. And that person is the one who is responsible for ensuring that the district makes all its commitments and becomes distinguished. That's the plan. That's the main goal, is for all of us to be a distinguished district. And it takes time to do this because one of the main points is you have to work together as a team. And I believe working as a team and collaboration is very important.
Yeah, you've got a huge team, I'm sure. Not only are you got the trio that you're leading, but you've also got all your division and area directors as well.
Yes, my area directors and my division directors, I praise them. Matter of fact, we had a deck meeting last night. And in our deck meeting, that's one of the things I always do, is to ensure that I'm a servant leader to my people, to let them know I appreciate them. Because if I didn't have them, I wouldn't be in the position that I am today.
Can you give us an idea about the geography of District 62?
Well, now they always talk about the hand and the palm and all that, right?
Yeah.
So let's say the palm is here, okay? So District 62 goes from, if you know where Brighton is, all the way to the UP. So all the way up to the Upper Peninsula is where we're at. And that's exactly what I'm doing, is it's where I have to go all the time. Sometimes I go to the UP. We're all the way up to St. Sault Marie, if you know where the Upper Peninsula is. That's how high we have to go. That's where, and I want you to know that's got to cross the bridge that waves like this all the time when you cross it. Make sure you go when when the wind is blowing, and don't go. And when the winter time, when I have to go up there, I've gone up there. I was trying to go up there this winter, and man, let me tell you, that bridge sways. And people say, you made it. I said, thank God. Yes. And it seems like they get so much snow up there.
Uh,
You gotta drive a truck.
well,
That's.
I'm
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I'm interrupting, but I haven't had to drive over the bridge that many times. I actually rode over it on a bicycle once, but they do offer people to actually drive your car for you or escort you. So, that's been in the back of my mind on several of my crossings of the Mackinac Bridge, because it can be daunting.
Yes, it is a daunting bridge. And don't be tired.
No.
Stay alert.
Absolutely.
What kind of challenges does this geography create for doing things such as contests or club officer training, the TLA?
Well, Carol, that's a good question. When you have such a geography, one of the things that we have to do is determine what locations are closest to our members that they can make it, that they feel comfortable in driving. So, for example, a lot of our clubs are in Grand Rapids. We have clubs in Lansing. And what we do is we try to ensure that we're always comfortable in talking to our members on their transportation. So we'll have a TLI in Grand Rapids, which people can drive down to. And then we'll have one in Lansing where people can drive down to, which is seems to be seems to be one of the places that we like to do is Lansing and Grand Rapids. But we also can do in the UP if we have a place, but we have to have a location that's centralized that everybody can go to. So Grand Rapids is always on our phone, and Lansing is always one of the places that we like to go all the time. So let me tell you, you're right, Carol. It is sometimes a geographical nightmare trying to ensure that TLIs get done, especially when they're in person. In person is a little different, but long as it's in Zoom like we're doing now, it's not that hard. Everybody, we can get everybody online. But then there's always this opportunity that we want to see each other and meet, and when we have our trainings, we have them in person. Next thing, as well as the upcoming spring conference, will be in Lansing, Michigan this year. It'll be at the Crown Plaza. You and Rick are absolutely invited to come down and join us because we're going to set out that we offer it to District 28 as well for the upcoming conference. So we all get together and break bread and talk about leadership and building even a better Toastmasters coming up.
Yeah, Rick and I are very excited about this merger between District 28 and 62 to become the new 216, right?
Yeah,
Correct.
we put the spring conference, your spring conference, on our calendar. What we don't know at this time is what District 28 is going to do. And, it almost seems like we ought to combine the conferences, but I'll stay out of this. It's not my place to play. But I'm definitely looking forward to meeting more people from District 62.
It's funny. It's good that you mentioned that, Rick. There's a transition team, and that transition team has Carol Prohinsky, Bruce Franston, and Mike Clark, and they will be doing the transition. So it might be possible for all that to happen, but that is the current transition team. Rhonda Muir is over the transition of what's going on. And you two are actually invited on January 5th, I believe it is, 5th or 6th, that we're having a town hall to talk about the transition on what's happening. So it's a Q&A and everybody will be there so you can ask your questions then.
That, I think we'll keep an eye out for that. Definitely invite us to that.
Fabulous.
Absolutely. I will ensure that you get on the list of people. I was talking about that last night. It's for the deck, but if you want to come on and join and listen as well. It's good to know what's going on with the upcoming transition.
Absolutely, big time, because I'm actually thinking it would be a good idea to have several of the transition team potentially participate in one of these podcasts. And obviously it's something to be discussed, but I think it would be a good thing
Absolutely.
to do.
Bruce, Mike, or Carol would be happy.
Yep.
Even Rhonda.
Yep, and all four of them, I think we could figure out a way to do that with the technology we have available.
Absolutely.
What challenges do you face as a district director besides geography?
What challenges do I face as the district director? That's another good question. When you have such personalities in a group of over 1,000 people, that is a challenge because everyone has their own different personality. And of course, even though you talk to them, everyone has an opinion and everyone wants to tell me that maybe, Owen, you can do it this way, or what we can do is that way. And I try to tell them sometimes, I understand what you want. However, it's what the guidelines are in the bylaws of Toastmasters is, because that's what we have to go by. I know you have ideas, but let's see if we can't work with Toastmasters first to see if we can get it taken care of. But it's very unique to work with individuals. I love it. I learned so much because the collaboration overall, Carol, is so interesting because as district director, you get to go out and you talk to individuals. One of the things that we have every year is leadership training. And the leadership training is where all the leaders get together and they collaborate and they talk. And the district directors talk about what's going on in their district and what problems they have. And one of the things we all talk about is the interesting about talking to everyone so they can understand what the whole mantra is of leadership skills, where leaderships are made. And you talk about building clubs, and our district mission, of course, is always you want to build clubs and support clubs for excellence. And sometimes everybody doesn't understand that. And one of the main things we talk about is we want to build clubs. And to build clubs, we have to have memberships. And to get memberships, you have to go out and talk to people. And the whole thing about talking to people is that's what we do as Toastmasters. I tell everybody all the time, get a 30-second pitch. So when you were in the elevator, somebody says, what's Toastmasters? You like, Toastmasters is this. It's your pitch. Doesn't have to be my pitch, it's your pitch. Mm-hmm. What do you love about being a Toastmaster? So I think that's one of the things I always talk about is making it people understand and the members understand that this is our organization and it's you building it, help build it. Yes. We can't do this alone. It's not a one thing, it's an all thing. And I think everyone needs to understand that. And I think once everyone understands that and sees the broader picture, they'll understand that Toastmasters is an ability to not just talk, not just learn, but to collaborate and learn from other people. Mm-hmm. This is a learning organization. And people forget that this is a learning organization. Like with your paths. When I talk about pathways, there's 12 paths. And I can't think of, there's only one other person I know who's done all 12 paths like myself. And let me tell you, those 12 paths, her and I went at each other about 4 or 5 years ago, Tara McCoy Jones. I see where she was at. She was two paths away from in front of me. I was like, wait a minute, I can't let that happen. So I'd be riding on, I'd be doing a speech. I'd go to somebody else's club so I could do a speech because I was like, I'm not letting her beat me. The competition between her and I was tremendous because she Owen, where are you? And I'd be like, I'm not telling you where I'm at. And she'd be like, I'll find out. Next thing you know, of course you can go look on the numbers and see where I'm at. And she'd look, no, I can't let you beat me. But it was fun because each week we're doing speeches. Mm-hmm. And now, of course, she works with me and she's one of my main people that I go to when I need something. Her and Nairi Royal, they're what I set up as a chief of staffs for me. Mm-hmm. And they are always able to assist me and working with me and they help out. They do tremendous work for our district. Mm-hmm. And I always talk about what they do and how they can help. And they're going to be tremendous leaders when they decide to come up.
And that's, I make a couple of comments here just to maybe throw the gauntlet down. There is a member of District 28, Bill Moylan. I don't know if you've heard his name, but I forget how many DTMs he's got. But he's done not only all 12 paths, he's done, I think, all 12 paths at least twice.
No.
Wow.
Yeah, somewhere up in that area. He's got like over 10 DTMs at this point.
He's crazy.
Wow.
He's,
Well,
and everybody knows he's crazy, and he knows he's crazy, but he loves giving speeches. He loves the opportunity to learn. He's also a professor. It all ties together. So, Bill Moylan is somebody to be aware of. He's on a whole nother level. The other remark I would like to make is the connection between leadership and being able to communicate. A really good friend of mine made a remark years ago that has stuck with me. And he said, you can be the smartest person in the room. You can have the most wonderful ideas. But if you can't communicate them, it doesn't matter. You might as well be the dumbest
exactly
person
right.
in the room. And that is why Toastmasters, to me, is such a powerful combination, is learn how to speak, learn how to make your point, and do it quickly in many cases, and you'll do well in a leadership role. And then just
You're right,
food
Rick.
for thought.
Well, you're right, Rick. I carry this. This is my microphone. My mentor, and you know who she is. Monica Morgan gave this to me some years ago, and she's my mentor. And it sticks in my mind all the time. Monica says, "You have got to go out there, and when you have the opportunity to speak, you speak. Don't hold back. Speak. When somebody asks you a question, speak." And I tell that to always. I always use that. It's always in the back of my mind when she told me that. And I thank Monica all the time about having her the ability to help me become a better speaker, a better leader. You know, she had me reading books on John Maxwell, Dale Carnegie, Zig Ziglar. Then she'll come back and ask me about the books. And I thought it was kind of funny. I was like, why are you asking me about the books? And she said, well, because I read the book too. And I'd be like, okay. And Carol Prahinsky, I'm sure you know who Carol Prahinsky
I
is.
know her well.
Carol, the professor, she is my mentor as well. We speak. And she will quickly ask me, do you remember? I'll give you an example. When she first became my mentor, she used to ask me, what's the district mission? I was like, the district, we build new clubs. She says, okay. Do you know every time we meet since 4 years ago, she still asks me that question. I said, of course I know the district mission. If I don't know the district mission, you take the opportunity to remind me that you should know it when somebody asks you.
Yeah.
So I was like, yes, it's 11 letters, 11 words, and I know exactly what they are. And then she asks you, then she talks about IRS, integrity, respect, excellence. And she says to me, make sure you remember those. Or we use RISE. So it's the best part about that is I love the mentors I have, and I try to tell everybody you should always get a mentor because having a mentor is very important because they help build you as a leader.
So I'm going to...
Because this leadership... Yep.
I apologize. We're going to run out of time here. And sure. I one of the questions I was going to ask, but I'll answer it. And then I want to ask you the one big question. And that is, it is absolutely important for people in Toastmasters to take the opportunity to jump into district or club or district leadership roles. Because boy, not only does that give back, but the learning opportunity is tremendous. So I just wanted to inject that here and then turn the question back to you and say, are there any other remarks that you'd like to make about being in Toastmasters?
Well, thank you, Rick, and thank you, Carol. I appreciate the opportunity for you to reach out to me regarding this speaking with about Toastmasters. One of the things I want everybody to know is Toastmasters takes you to some places that you never thought you would get to. When you walk into a room when you were young or as you walk into a room now, remember when you were young and you were so scared to talk, to say anything, like when you first go into school in high school and you were so nervous and oh man. Then the teacher, what's your name? And you'd be like, and you sweat and you couldn't remember. Remember you couldn't remember your name? Now, what Toastmasters does, it allows you to walk into a room and take command. My name is Owen Monday Jr. I am the district director of District 62. I am a distinguished Toastmaster. I came here to talk to you about building leadership skills. That to me means the world because what I do every day is I want to talk about it. Matter of fact, I talk to my CEO of my company, MEDC, and he, of course, being the CEO, first thing he asked me when I talked to him the other day was, "How's Toastmasters going?" He and I had a little discussion. I said, "Toastmasters is going great." I said, "I love it." And I said, "I'm going to get you involved as well because you need to get out there and teach everyone about your leadership skills because you're the head of you're the CEO of a business. It's almost like we've attempted to get the governor a couple of times, but her business, she's always on the schedule. But like I told him, and I saw her once, I said, "I'm going to get you to speak. I don't know when, but I'm going to get you."
Let me know. I'll come to that
So
one.
Yeah, really.
I told her I don't know when, but I'm going to get you in there sooner or later. And she just smiled and she says, "Okay." Send it to my representative, send it to my office. And I said, "Of course, absolutely." And I've even sent out to uh, Mr. Gilchrist to come speak to us as well. Everyone's busy, but the thing is, we want to get Toastmasters out there for
Yes.
people to learn, be better leaders. This is just after district director for me. I think one of the things I still want to do is continue going to leadership.
Okay.
Build myself up, go into, if not region advisor, international director, maybe even international president of Toastmasters International.
Go
Put
for it.
that to my
Yes.
resume.
Absolutely go
You
for
know,
it.
Put that in my resume because
No doubt.
that's one of my things is to do that as well. I
Fabulous.
want to take
Fabulous.
this to the next level.
Well, I am going to tell you we have used up our time, unfortunately. Maybe we'll do another podcast with you and have a further conversation on some of this. In the meantime,
Absolutely.
very much appreciate your time today, Owen. This has been a very informative and fun conversation about Toastmasters and what you have done. So very, very, very much appreciate your leadership and what you continue to do to make Toastmasters and Toastmasters clubs the organizations that they are. We are definitely running out of time, so I will bid adieu to you and my lovely wife and co-host, and let's play that closing music.
Thank you, Rick and Carol.
Thank you. And
Absolutely. Anytime you need me.